The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode. Muted.
Your host for today.
Unmuted.
Hi, I'm just doing a quick mic check. I know it's not a live session where you are interacting and you can also speak and then confirm whether am I audible or not. But you can surely respond on the chat window, just checking if my voice is loud and clear and everyone can hear me. All right. So my name is Om Puran and I'll be a host for today. The COVID-19 outbreak is causing worldwide concerns and economic hardships for consumers, businesses, and communities across the globe. These are genuinely challenging spells for companies and employees in every market. As your technology partner, we just want to help your business stay agile and productive in the months and years ahead. In this regard, we have set up the Discover Digital webinar series. In today's webinar, we explore how manufacturers can make their factories more agile, achieve higher level of flexibility, and respond better to the fluctuating consumer demands. We present to you our webinar for today, Digital Manufacturing Shop Floor to Top Floor Visibility for Operational Excellence. Let me do a quick introduction about Yes Technologies. Now, Yes Technology is a global technology consulting services company that is committed to helping customers align their technology innovation and business strategy. We have a reach across 6 continents, and we are one of the leading global technology companies. Yes, technology helps manufacturing customers in improving customer experience, improving operational flexibility, and maximizing production uptime. And we also are responsible for enabling your business growth and accelerating the business digitalization. And we have also been serving some of the prestigious large manufacturing companies across US, Europe, Middle East, and rest of the world. Solstice Middle East is our division in Middle East, and we are headquartered in Dubai, and we are also one of the leading IT services company in the region. And we have customers across Middle East and Africa. Now that's more or less about who we are. Let me quickly introduce you to our speaker. Uh, for today, our esteemed speaker is Mr. Hemant Kanakagiri, who is associated with Yes Technology as a solution architect. Now, Hemant is a seasoned pre-sales consultant and a solution architect in data science with over 13 years of IT experience. And currently, he plays the role of a digital transformation specialist and is responsible for positioning the digital technologies to develop innovative solutions and to solve business problems. He takes care of customer engagement, business analysis, solution design, and delivery. And he is primarily focusing on the data science to provide analytic solution in manufacturing, supply chain, and retail customer across the Middle East, Europe, and India. So without any further ado, I would like to kick things off by welcoming Mr. Hemant. Over to you, Mr. Hemant. Let's start the presentation.
Thanks, Om. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks, everyone, for giving me the opportunity to present a webinar on the digital transformation of a manufacturing organization by providing a holistic overview and integrated approach from shop floor to top floor and how this drives the operational excellence. And my role in Yash as a pre-sales consultant and pre-sales led delivery consultant enabled me to be part of several engagements where I worked with manufacturing customers. And I would like to share some of these experiences with you and what challenges the customers are facing and how Yash is helping them or enabling them to implement digitization to transform their IT landscape and become a modern IT organization, modern manufacturing organization. So first, I would like to start with the industry definition of digital shop floor and digital top floor. So typically, this is an ISA 95 manufacturing maturity model as prescribed by the industry. So it starts from level 0 to level 4, and it can go to level 5, level 6 also. And level 0 is where the actual production process happens. It's on the shop floor at the equipment level. And level 1 is where the IoT, the sensors, or the data collection starts happening. And level 2 is where PLCs, SCADA systems at a higher level of aggregation for an equipment data collection perspective. And then your information management systems, whether it's teams or distributed control systems, or lab information management systems, or MES, all these come at level 3. And level 4 is where the transaction systems, the analytical systems are placed, like your ERP, CRM, your plant management, etc., can be coming at level 4. And so typically how these systems enable the plant to function is at the shop floor. The decision making is taken at a minute by minute level. So what's the hourly produce, how much is the output, what's the performance, what is the breakdown, how many minutes of idle time, how many minutes of run time, all those are calculated at digital shop floor. Whereas the management takes the decisions at strategic and tactical level at the top floor by looking at the data, comparative analysis, trending analysis of different key performance indicators. So this is where we start the journey of shop floor to top floor visibility, or the integration, to drive the excellence in a manufacturing organization. Let us go forward in understanding some of the key manufacturing challenges faced by the typical large organizations. Here, I would like to take an example of one of our key customers where we are a strategic partner in implementing digital transformation and drive the organization into becoming a digital manufacturing organization. So let me give an overview on what what's the nature of this organization is, and what challenges it typically faces in the traditional environment, as well as what is the current state given the disruption that is caused by COVID-19, and how the plant or the organization is aligning itself to meet the challenges. So this is a medical equipment manufacturing organization with major manufacturing in the surgical equipment, in the orthopedic implants, in the neurovascular implants areas. So there is a diverse set of manufacturing functions that are implemented across, both made to order, made to stock, assembled to order. Different processes are implemented, and there are several areas like fabrication, assembly, machine shop, foundry, or 3D printing. So many diverse set of manufacturing activities that go into this. So typically there are each plant has 100 to 200 machines or equipment, and several lines where labor will do the assembly. So there are around 40 to 50 plants across the globe, in US, in Europe, in China, in Southeast Asia, etc. And the various operations like cutting, milling, grinding, heating, polishing, packaging, etc. are handled on a daily basis. So in this diverse portfolio of activities, with the diverse set of products that are manufactured, it's a how to align all these things together collectively to drive the competitive advantage. And healthcare sector is always relevant to irrespective of the economic conditions. Healthcare sector is always there, and people need these and on a regular basis, and the market is growing. But however, even with the growing market, it is facing disruption in the COVID situation. So when a plant functions in this kind of dynamic situation, which is emerging on a daily basis, it needs an agile IT environment to meet the decision making needs, to drive agility and competitive advantage. So in the absence of a robust digital reporting system, these plants are struggling on a daily basis to take quick decisions or informed decisions. So which is affecting the utilization of the labor or the machine utilization. That means there is either a labor idle time, or there is a machine idle time, or there is a excess inventory pile up in the warehouse on the line side, or at the suppliers, the excessive procurement at wrong timing, because of which a lot of cash is locked. So all these are impacting the expansion of the organization into new markets, launching the new products, or driving the innovation in the plants. So there is there is a definitive need to implement digitization to drive the agility. So one example is the procurement spend was reported at 2.8 billion, but it was found that after the data reconciliation as a major exercise across the organization, it is found to be 3.2 billion. But this excess inventory lying in the plants, in the warehouse, etc., has locked the precious cash for investment into key business areas. So let us see what are the typical shop floor and top floor challenges that are faced by this organization. So on the shop floor, there are a lot of users, operators, managers working for years and decades also in the plant, and their knowledge is retained within themselves, and it is not captured in the form of robust reporting systems, which the plant can leverage. Those experiences should be leveraged to take informed decisions, but it is mostly driven by human judgment, which is error prone and leading to the disruptions in the production plan. There is a lot of variance, and the root cause of that variance is not found. And machine utilization, there are frequent downtimes, and because of the lack of visibility into the equipment performance, excessive spares are maintained, which is also locking the cash. And then there are bottlenecks on the line. So either there is a accumulation or there is starvation on the line, and laborer is either working overtime or becoming idle. So again, when a same line is manufacturing different products or different SKUs of the same product, an agile execution or agile scheduling is required for optimal utilization of the labor workforce. So and then there are scraps and there are reworks happening. So the material shortage is causing the plant to keep some of the inventory as a work in progress inventory and keep it somewhere in the plant, and then take care of it later when the part is available. So there is a hidden factory component, and time to ship these goods, the deliveries are impacted. And in the absence of the accurate data collection at the operator and the workstation level, what happens is the data is aggregated at the work center level, and what is the performance of the operator, who has performed, who has functioned at what time, what is the produce, what is the scrap. These in the absence of this visibility, the accountability is missing. So the plant is unable to boost the operator performance by going for some upskilling or some cross-skilling training, or reusing the same labor for multiple activities like multi-skilling. So these kind of activities are hampered, or this decision making is hampered in the absence of clear visibility into the performance of operators and machines. So these are at the shop floor level, while at the top floor level, the plant, most of the plants are bogged down with legacy ERPs. And then the reporting systems are very ad hoc. Either they are paper based or mostly Excel based, where the analysts and the managers, they on a daily basis, they try to take the data, they extract the data from these multiple systems, try to combine them, do the summaries, do the pivots, do the lookups to generate the daily report to what happened yesterday and what is the current state, and how they are performing with respect to the plan. So the plan versus actual, and are they all in line with their target given to the plant, or given to the line and given to the operator, are these in line? So this daily visibility itself is missing because of the lack of robust reporting. And each plant in its own locale, in its own geography, has a slightly different metric definition, which is making it difficult to do a plant-wise benchmarking for the executive management. And the ERPs, with the lack of robust governance, it is very difficult to update the ERPs with the bombs, with the routers, or based on the changes in the PLM, the implementation, the ERP on the sequencing and all this is not properly done, because of which there are incorrect data, missing values, or incorrect linkages, and this is hampering the reporting and causing the plant management to keep a separate master data for the local reporting. So collectively, this is causing a drag on the decision making, or extending the decision making time, which is very critical in moving, becoming a very agile organization or a modern manufacturing organization. So this is the current state, and how this plant or this organization is trying to transform itself is by identifying that there is a pain in the organization. It has to be addressed. The business requirement is to move fast and ensure that the digitization is the digital transformation is the key to success. And after identification of that, they have engaged us as the preferred partner to drive this digital transformation. And we have worked with the plant management and the executive management to identify that these are the key objectives, how to provide a common picture to the plant management and the executive management, and how to drive the metric definition and enable benchmarking across the plants, across the lines, across the operators, etc. So based on this, we identified that it's an analytics first approach. First, we'll digitize the reporting systems, and then based on the gaps in the data that are observed, then the data cleansing has to be implemented, and based on the current state analysis at a later point of time, we'll implement the ERP modernization, the transaction system automation. So that's how this approach is identified at the vision level as well as the strategies to be followed. So, and there are key metrics that are identified at the organization level, which should show the proof of implementing this transformation, how this is giving the intended results. So how we approached this engagement, how we proceeded with the transformation exercise with the customer. Let's see. So we have a co-innovation approach where we work jointly with the customer in a consultative-led engagement, where we based on our experience with several manufacturing organizations where we provided valued IT services, we worked with the plant to identify what are the key areas to be digitized first and what is the priority and where it will give the most impact to the business, where the maximum business value will be derived. So those things are identified here in this co-innovation approach, for which Yash is ready to provide the resources, the required resources with its own innovation labs on IoT, on cloud, on data science, on the analytics. So we have dedicated resources, the pool teams available at that. We made them available to the customer, and then the customer leveraged these teams to work on a small pilot activity and to prove out the business. And then based on the proof, a go or no go decision is taken to then scale it across the organization as a rollout. So in this approach, so this is how we identify the key areas, and then what is the minimum viable product we should create, and then based on the outcome, we are going to ramp up the teams and do a scale fast approach of rapid implementation across the organization. So the digital transformation approach implemented in this engagement has led us into this roadmap on how to transform the organization. So this is an emerging market, this is a growing market, so there is good amount of demand in the market. So the plants are in expansion mode. Again, this is till COVID situation, and let's understand the post-COVID also, or the current state also. So but traditionally the plant, the organization was in a growing stage. It's a Fortune 500 company, and it is fast reaching into Fortune 100 space. And so the planning team is allocating the targets for different plants and allocating the production, the type of production to be met, and the targets for each item, each SKU. It is driven by the planning team, the integrated business planning team, and then the procurement, and then the operations, which will lead to the fulfillment and the customer service. This is the flow in the supply chain. But the planning is done at a monthly planning or quarterly or yearly planning, which is a long horizon or a tactical or strategic timelines. But in the production, which is a daily activity, there is a key challenge in meeting the product mix. Suppose if we take a knee replacement production, so for a knee replacement, there are multiple parts, base plates, femurs or patellas or some plastic. So there are several operations that go into this. And if one of the part is not produced enough, so this product mix will fail, and it will impact the overall delivery. So the production process is impacting the overall objectives of the organization growth or customer service. So this is where the first step of digitization has to happen, to provide shop floor to top floor. And in parallel, the procurement operations can be addressed to optimize the spend. And then the demand, it will eventually roll up into the demand planning, and then the customer service side of the things can be taken up at the later stage. So this is in agreement with the plant leadership or organization leadership. We have identified this approach. So the operations talk about the machine downtime, machine utilization analysis, and the quality is the rework or scrap, which will lead to the excess inventory, or the how to consume, liquidate the existing stock and rationalize the inventory, and then which will automatically improve the finances of the plant. This is how it is observed, or this approach is identified. And this translates into these four key technology tracks to drive the digitization. Track one is the OEE, to observe and improve the machine utilization. Track two is the statistical process control, which will lead to predictive analytics as we go forward. Track three is the takt time boards, which will show the plan versus actual for a line and gives superior control to the supervisors and the operators. And then track four is the manufacturing data lake, which is the ultimate solution to bring in the data from all data sources in the organization, and then provide a single source of truth for reporting purpose. So these are the current technologies, and the most of the reporting on the shop floor and top floor are happening through a local reporting system, Excel, macros, so on and so forth, without a robust reporting system in place, a unified, which provides a unified common picture, which can be seen both by the operators and the plant manager. So that's where this approach is identified. And the first track OEE is about the machine performance. It is about the machine availability, and then how much is produced in that machine and what is the scrap that is generated in the machine. In the absence of the linkages in the plant, without the plant hierarchy, what's happening is the plant is unable to see a machine performance or the trend, the downtime of a particular machine. It is seeing only at the work center level, and most of the knowledge resides with the plant managers or the line leaders or the line managers. So this is going to collect the data at the machine level, show what is the cycle time, what is the takt time, and what is the actual production and the scrap at the machine, and the operator who worked on that machine. So this will ensure that a cluster of machines that are working in the plant are maintained properly, the optimal plant preventive maintenance schedules are identified, and then the optimal quantities of spares are maintained. So this will lead to reduction in the number of spares, as well as boost the line performance at the work center performance. So this is the first track. And in the second track, it is statistical process control, which is more applicable to the assembly operations, where a lot of human operators are working, where there are there is a continuous flow from one workstation to the second workstation before a finished good is created. So how this process is performing, where there are bottlenecks in this process, or how for which products there is an outlier here, or there is a where the distribution of the data, where the spread of the data is going above or beyond the normal values. So what's the deviation here, where the process is getting deviated, and what are the root causes? So this is the first step in implementing statistical techniques to understand the process performance in the manufacturing lines. So this will give more control, more visibility into the process adherence, because this is a very quality centric organization because of the healthcare domain. So this is a very important metric, which is so far maintained in Excels or manually, but not automatic data collection or the data collection at the operator level as the line is moving. So this is the second track. And then the third is the takt time boards, or the end of the lane boards. So in a typical line where there are again more for the human operators, or where there is a line, moving line with different workstations, and where there are more than one equipment in each workstation to handle the workload. So the plant typically takes a decision of whether to augment the capacity or augment the labor to meet the production demands. So there the takt time and the versus the cycle time analysis is the key to drive the efficiencies on the line. So the end of the line boards or the takt boards have to be placed at in the factory floor, so that there is a quick observation for the management or the line leaders to see where there is a bottleneck in the line, where there is a slowdown, where there is a changeover, where there is a setup required, which is eating into the overall efficiencies. So these decision making, the operator and supervisors are enabled by the takt boards. And then the manufacturing data lake. So this is a consolidation of all disparate data across the plant, and mostly this is used by the top management and the mid management to take the decisions. So key things is most of the plants, most of the analysts on the floor, they are spending time in compiling the reports and actually analyzing the reports, and they are maintaining several local masters because the accuracy is not there in the ERP systems because of the lack of data governance. So they have to combine all these different data sources to get their daily report. How much is a line producing, and what operator is producing how much, and then where are the bottlenecks, where there is a attainment missing for the supply plan or the supply plan makes, etc. So several key metrics that are measured on a daily basis about the inventories, about the scrap, etc. are manually created, and which is causing excess labor to be focused on report creation than the report analysis and the decision making. And so the users, what they wanted is a system that will automate this entire report generation, which should come automatically in the form of a dashboard, an analytical dashboard, using which they will be able to play with several filters, observe the trending, observe the comparative analysis, and then take informed decisions. Also, the plant users typically want a raw data download to perform their own ad hoc analysis or create their own custom dashboard. So these flexibilities are what is expected out of a robust data lake. That's where the data collection, data aggregation, and then the transformation, and then the analytics are performed in the entire data lifecycle by our digitization team, the data warehousing, and then the analytics team. So these are the key benefits that are enabled. One approach is to provide the executive dashboard as quick snapshot across the plants to see which plant is performing more, where some plants are not performing up to the mark, because there are several feeder plants which produce work in progress items which are consumed by different plants to manufacture the finished goods. So it is very important that the lines are functioning as expected and the plant is functioning as expected, and the variance has to be addressed to ensure that the production is streamlined and the inventory movement is quick, and the customer service is handled quickly. So these are some of the key metrics, and these are some of the key hierarchies the plant is interested in observing on a daily basis across the lines. So what products we are producing, and where it is produced, which business unit, which department, which cost center, and then when it is produced, between a date range or yesterday basis or last week or last month. So they want to do a comparative analysis so that a shift wise, line wise, plant wise comparison can be enabled. And some of the metrics are how much is the quantity produced, what is the cost of the production, what's the cost of goods manufactured, what's the cost of goods sold, and then how much time is taken to produce this, how much labor is used to produce these items, and out of the labor consumed, how many are permanent labor, how many are variable labor, and in those, how much is the actual time, how much is the overtime. So these are the analysis that the plant wants to do. So when it comes to machine, the downtime analysis is very important. So the plants where a lot of machine shops or fabrication is there, their OEE metric is the key metric. Where there is a lot of human operations are involved, where there is a lot of assembly is involved, then SPC or takt time analysis or the productivity analysis is more important, more relevant there. So these are the things that the plant management has identified to implement in several plants to derive the maximum value. And this is how the whole manufacturing data lake comes into the picture. So there are several Power Apps we are enabling them to transform the local reporting or local master data into the cloud. So give them elegant Power Apps to manage the data instead of a local Excel, and take the ERP transaction data along with other lab information management systems or the production information management systems into the data lake, and then provide a common picture and then generate the automated reports. As the plant users are observing the reports, some of the gaps in the data are becoming evident. Like there is a work in progress item which is residing in the transaction system for more than 1 year. So clean up the data by closing those orders because the backflush is not functioning properly in the legacy ERP. So this is how the plant is driving the data cleansing also, and all this data enrichment is enabling the plant to go for a ERP modernization as the next step. So some of the dashboards that the plant are able to see because of this manufacturing data lake is able to streamline the reporting and generate automated reports. What are the shortage parts, what are the defects, what are the scraps, how much is the rework. So these are the quick observations the users are able to see, and then which lines are slowing down, where some operators need to be upskilled. So these are the quick insights they are able to get from some of the dashboards that are deployed. Some of the inventory reconciliation dashboards where the dashboards are the systems are not talking to each other because of the lack of integration, but we brought the data together into the data lake and then provided a common report. So the reconciliation is made evident here, and because of which the production process is streamlined. In the absence of this, the plant is going ahead with the assumption that the inventory is available at the warehouse and then creating the MRP, but when it is actually being produced, then they are finding that the inventory is not available, and then this is causing the line to go down. So these dashboards are enabling the plant to plan for the production efficiently. Some more dashboards where some of the key metric dashboards are provided to the top management in the plant. And then the execution approach, how again, as we discussed in the co-innovation approach, we are identifying these 4 different tracks, and each track there is a pilot plan selected to start with where the maximum value will be derived, and then the POC or the global template creation is being implemented in that plant and make it a success. And based on the learnings that are derived from this exercise, the rollout will be planned, and appropriately the next plan, the next candidate plant is identified, or the division rollout is planned by assigning the technical team for data readiness in the other plants, as well as the technical ramp up of our development team is planned. So this is how the approach, the delivery approach is identified. So this is a quick snapshot on the Azure architecture that we use. So several systems, transaction systems, SCADA systems, or the data from the machines as well as the transaction systems are taken into the data lake where the appropriate transformations are implemented. And at this point of time, we are starting with descriptive analytics by providing the report automation and giving them the dashboards where self-service analytics can be performed. But going forward, there will be predictive and prescriptive analytics also coming out of the same data once the data consolidation is in place. This is the end-to-end solution architecture we are implementing here. So it will become a consolidation of IoT data, geospatial data, image data, and so on and so forth. All structured, semi-structured, unstructured data will be taken into the data lake where appropriate treatment is given, and different consumers of the data can be allowed to access the data and take actions on the insights. So we are following an agile execution approach here. Let me explain how the agile process is relevant in the manufacturing. The users who are familiar with Excel so far are now being given a modern BI platform, and the requirements are being identified as the product is being rolled out. So the users start using the dashboards, and then they find that they need some more enriched reports because they haven't thought about these things till the system is in place. Now that they are getting a robust system, then they are getting an idea, or getting the requirements keep increasing about combining various other data sources to get a more robust holistic understanding on the plant operations. So that's how the team is refining the requirements, or the requirements are being evolved as the execution is happening. So instead of a big bang approach, we went with a waterfall approach where we keep in close contact with the users to understand the changing requirements and then adapt the metric calculation, the dashboard development accordingly. So we are providing these transformations to the manufacturing customers with our Yash digital services, where we have a gamut of offerings across the technologies, and then we are in a position to service a large organization across the globe in the situation where there is a disruption the happening with COVID. Like the plants are now the funding is being slowed down. The new initiatives are getting stopped. The plants are being tasked to repurpose the existing workforce and then utilize them to develop some more different product lines. Like there is a slowdown in the orthopedic implants, where there is an increase in the medical beds consumption. So the plants have to be repurposed, and there is a ramp up of the production of the medical beds. So how to leverage this labor workforce in producing a different product line, or how to reduce the overall spend, and see where is the value add, where is the value leak areas. So these digital services are more important here. These solutions are becoming more important in providing the visibility to the top management and the line leaders and the shop floor operators in driving the utilization and driving excellence. So that's how we are leveraging our IT services to enable the digital transformation to the manufacturing organizations. So that's how our role in being a preferred partner is being leveraged by the industry leader in this manufacturing space. So now I can leave the floor to take up any questions from the audience.
Thanks, Hemant, for your insights on the topic. Now we move on to the next session, which is the Q&A. And if anyone has any questions, you can please type on the chat window. And in the meanwhile, let me go through a few of the questions which have come so far. So Hemant, first question we have is, what are the timelines for implementing the given solutions?
Okay, so typical timelines we are looking at is a 90-day cycle. We are following an agile agile execution approach in which several sprints are identified. So in each sprint, we are taking a 2-week sprint, but overall we are planning for a win in every 90-day cycle. So there is a phased approach. In each phase, there should be a value addition to the business. So we are choosing a line, or we are choosing a particular area, or we are choosing a certain source systems to bring to digitize as the first step. And what is the first phase of delivery, and which will move the needle to the business? That is identified and prioritized with the business, and thereby we are identifying a 90-day cycle. So the journey will continue for some time before till the entire organization is digitized. But we are starting with pilot plant. In that, a pilot line, or where the most relevant business area like fabrication, or like assembly, like machine shop, where the solution is pertinent, and there what can we do in the next 90 days. So that's how we are starting, and based on the business requirement, we are prioritizing the implementation and showing a win, and then we are based on the learnings, we are planning for the next phase. So this is how we are approaching to ensure that there is a steady rollout or steady implementation across the business, and then the value is seen and felt by the business, and the feedback is incorporated as we proceed further.
Thanks, Hemant. Thanks for answering that question. Next, what are the challenges you are facing in implementing these solutions?
So typical challenges we are facing is the lack of data standardization, data governance, and then the operators are also not familiar with the digitization. So once we have to take a lead in understanding the business and be a consultative approach here to to translate the business requirements into technology requirements, and then ensure that we are working closely with the operators in driving the adoption. And challenges with respect to COVID is the slowdown in the plant funding, and then how to realign the requirements to post-COVID situation where things can be uncertain, where there is more agility required, where there is a labor workforce available to do multi-skilling activities. So how to enable the plant leadership in taking these decisions. So there, suppose, for example, in a place where there is the analysts are becoming idle, those workforce is used to observe the data and do the data cleansing and create the environment ready for ERP implementation. Where there is a labor workforce, they are being multi-skilled to operate on multiple lines. These are the things that are happening on the plant. And in the reporting, they want to measure the productivity metric. How much is the productivity? What are the earned hours? What are the actual hours? So based on these productivity benchmarking across the plant. So the priorities for the requirements, the reporting requirements also are changing. And we have to accommodate that. So the data in the data lake is available for us to do the reporting. But then there is a change in the reporting, and we have to align to the plant leadership in providing these reports on time. So these are some of the dynamic things that an agility is required both from the business side and then the IT partner side as well. So these are some of the dynamic things that are happening right now.
Thanks, Hemant. Next question that we have is, which software you are using at the back end, like the MES in GE is one of the softwares for machine connectivity.
So the software that is preferred by the business, that is identified is Ignition as the target software. MES is Apprizo is the target MES that is being implemented, and we are leveraging the Microsoft Azure technology stack. So this is a Microsoft shop throughout. So the Power Apps, the Azure Data Lake, everything is leveraging the Microsoft tech stack here. Microsoft SharePoint, OneDrive, or Azure Blob. These are the platforms used to hold the data, raw data, before being transformed in the Azure Synapse and then Power BI dashboards. So all these are the manufacturing data lake is in Azure, where the report digitization is happening, whereas the source data collection is being implemented is driven by the Ignition implementation. And MES is the next step. The ERP modernization, MES implementation, as relevant as the business sees the value, where there is more machine connectivity or more labor workforce utilization, where MES is going to be a game changer. There, the prioritization of MES implementation, the prioritization of ERP modernization will be taken at the plant level. But even before that, it's, as I mentioned earlier, it's an analytics first approach, where the report digitization is happening first to enable the plants to see the data, go and clean the data, and then become ready to implement the next transaction system or go for a transaction system modernization.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks, Hemant. We do have another continuing question for the same one from the same audience. So, do operators have to enter it manually, the data manually, or machines are connected and automatically the data is being provided, the information is being provided?
Excellent question. Excellent question. So let me answer this. There are several lines where the equipment, there is a digitized equipment available, which is already generating the data. How many are the good parts? How many are the scrap? All these are being automatically provided by the machine itself. In some of the areas where the inspection is done manually, because the equipment is not in a position to provide these details, there is a manual inspection stage before the packaging and shipping. So there is a lot of labor workforce. And even in the operators also, suppose in a work center there are 20 different grinding machines. So the operators are doing the grinding operations, but giving them a task of entering, putting a terminal there, entering, making them enter the data may or may not be possible. So the plant management is taking a conscious decision on which lines can be automated, which lines have digitized machines, which lines should have terminals for the operators to enter the data manually, or which lines should not increase workload to the operators, but rather allow the supervisors to enter this data. That's a business decision that is being taken based on the type of the nature of the work, where they, and all these, whether an operator is entering the data in a terminal because of the ignition implementation, or a supervisor is taking care of this, is a change control process which is implemented by the plant management. So there it's a business decision enabled by the IT partner as suggested by the business.
Well, thank you, Hemant, for answering that question. We have a series of questions which are flowing in. I'll just take few more.
Sure.
How do you handle OT in plant security, where your solution is cloud-based? Data collection or data warehouse will remain on-prem.
So again, there is a security framework in place. The data collection is done at the plant level with on-prem server, but the aggregation of it, the reporting is done in the manufacturing data lake. So the entire raw data may not go to the cloud, but the summary data for leadership reporting and the executive reporting will be done at in the cloud level. But at the machine level, as the data is collected and all that data goes to the edge gateway, and then the IoT edge devices, and then the edge gateway to do the computation at the plant floor itself, on the shop floor itself.
Thanks, Hemant. Thanks for answering this question. We have another question. Okay, which one shall I take? Is this implemented in any steel manufacturing industry so far? Our solution implemented in steel manufacturing?
Yeah, we have implemented similar solution where we have created a real-time production quality optimization solution in the steel industry, specifically to tell about a steel melt shop, where there is a continuous data coming from the basic oxygen converter, and then the various data points have to be taken, and a predictive model has to tell whether the process is complete or not, because the objective is to reduce the production impurity of the phosphorus element, and at some threshold the phosphorus impurity gets added back to the hot metal. So the plant wanted to understand how this process is behaving, and model the behavior of the process, and identify the time when the oxygen lancing is done and the process is ready to go to the next stage, because the existing situation is take the hot metal out of the converter and do the electroscopic analysis, and then the results come after 3-4 minutes. By the time the process goes to the goes forward, and some more impurity levels get changed. So in real time, this information is required, where we implemented a predictive analytics solution to observe the process in real time, give the real time feed to the operator to move the process to the next level, and then the actual lab results can act as a corroboration to improve the machine learning model. That's how we implemented for a steel industry. It doesn't matter which industry, as long as there is a data generated at the source, and how to move it into the lake and then implement these models.
Thanks, Hemant. So I'll take the last question. I'll take a question. We do have few other questions which are there, but I'm taking this as one of the last questions. Which are the tools which are being used by Yash for reporting purpose, for shop floor visibility?
So typically, when it comes to the operator level visibility or the supervisor related visibility, some of the dashboards can be given at in the ignition screens itself. If not, the data can be taken into the Power BI, and then the management can use the Power BI dashboards, because there is again a distinction between real-time reporting and then tactical and strategic reporting. So an operator wants to see the target versus actual in real time or near real time. Maybe in every hour every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, he'll be checking the board and see the number, and every hour he'll be measured against the targets. So the real-time reporting is a different thing, and then the analytical reporting is a different thing, where operator-wise benchmarking or the trend of an operator over a period of time, all these are measured. So there are places where ignition reporting is used, and there are places where Power BI reporting is used for self-service analysis.
Thanks, Hemant. This was the last question that we had to take, and if anyone has any queries, we have few other questions, but we'll be answering them on email or reaching out to those individuals separately. And if you have got any questions or you have any queries, so you can always contact us. Our email ID would be shared. And thanks, Hemant, for your insights and perspectives. I know it's been a matter of few weeks. The world of manufacturing has completely changed and it has become disrupted. And I'm sure today's webinar has provided everyone good insights on this pertaining topic. Okay. And finally, let me do the honor of giving the vote of thanks. I must mention that a deep sense of appreciation for Hemant for taking up this session, and I know it's been your experience and expertise in the field and the way you're passionate about the subject, so you were able to share your perspectives and insights which I'm sure our audience is going to derive valuable insights, and it will help us in keeping the lights on and in during these uncertain times and be prepared for the future. With this, we conclude this webinar and see you soon in the next episode. Thanks. Thank you all. Thanks, Hemant.
Thank you.